Mangaroos Tutoring Services, Mathematics Classes.
Okay, so this is 2019 January paper 1. We're going to take a look at question 1. So we have 2/3 to the power of 2. So what we'll do here is raise the numerator and the denominator to the power of 2. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Your answer is 4/9, so D. Question 2, the number 3.14063 written correct to 3 decimal places is, so this is the third decimal place here, which is what we will be rounding off, and this number is 5 or more, so we need to add 1, so we end up with 3.141. everything else gets replaced with a 0. So that's B, 3.141. In standard notation, 208.06 is written as, so we need to take this decimal point back 2 places to the left. So it is now, the number is now between 1 and 10, right, which is what is required for standard notation. Since we took it 2 places to the left, in order to get back to 208, we need to go 2 places to the right. So it would not be 10 to the minus 2, it's going to be 10 squared. So your answer is A. If $560 is shared in the ratio 2 to 3 to 9, the difference between the largest and the smallest shares is what? Okay, so 2 plus 3 plus 9 would give me a total of 14 parts, and that's 14 parts would then be equal to the total, which is 560. So that means that 1 part would be 560 divided by 14. So 14 into 56 is 4, and then we add a 0. So 1 part is $40. So the smallest part is going to be equal to 40 times 2, which is 80. The largest part is 9 times 40, which is 360. So then the difference would be 360 minus 80. That's going to be $280. Okay, so we have to pay attention to what the question is asking us and work accordingly. Right, if I am moving too fast for you, just remember you can pause this video, replay it. You can play it on 0.75 times speed or 0.5 times speed. Okay. All right, so number 5, if 60% of a number is 90, what is 4/5 of the number? So 60% is 3/5, right, and 3/5 would be equal to 90, which means that our whole would be 5/3 multiplied by 90/1. Right, now I'm going to be doing all these calculations by hand. 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 90 is 30, because in this exam you are not allowed to use a calculator. 5 times 30 is 150, right, therefore our total is 150, and this is how they can trip you up. 150 is here as an option, but you still have an extra step to do. They don't ask you what the number is, they asked you for 4/5 of the number. So 4/5 of 150, 5 into 150 is 30, 4 times 30 is 120, so our answer is C. Okay, question 6, the first 3 common multiples of 3, 4, and 6 are, so if we look at our listing, it's going to be multiples of all of them, right? So 3 is not a multiple of 4, so B is out. 0, 1, and 2 are all less than the numbers, so they cannot be multiples. And 6, 8, and 12, so 8 here is not a multiple of 6 or 3, right? And well, 6 is not a multiple of 4. So A, B, and C are out. By process of elimination, we get to D. You can use that to eliminate all the wrong options, because sometimes that might be faster than actually doing the question and figuring out the common multiples. Okay, so if P equals, then we have 2, 3, 5, 7, Q is a set containing 2, 3, 6, and S is a set containing 2, 4, 5, then P intersect Q intersect S would be what? Well, the intersection sign tells us that we need to list the elements that these sets have in common. So the elements that appear in both sets, right? Or in this case, all 3 sets. So what is common to P, Q, and S would be 2, right? 3 is here, but not in here. 5 is in these 2 sets. 4, 6, and 7 appear in only 1 set each. So the only common element we have is this set containing 2. Okay, item 8 refers to the following Venn diagram. In the Venn diagram, NP equals 5, NQ equals 9, and NP union Q equals 10. So they ask, what is NP intersect Q? Right, so the formula is NP union Q is equal to NP plus NQ minus NP intersect Q. So this is essentially algebra. We would input the values according to the question. So we have 10 is equal to 5 plus A, and the only thing we are looking for is NP intersect Q. So I'm going to take this over to the left hand side. So it will become positive. That's what we're looking for. And then 5 plus 8 minus 10, I'm taking 10 over to the right hand side, so it becomes minus 10. 5 plus 8 is 13, 13 minus 10 is 3. Oh, this here. There's a mistake here, 5 plus 9. Right? Misread that. So 5 plus 9 is 14, and 14 minus 10 is 4. So that's a little error there. For number 9, which of the following sets is equivalent to PQRS? So it's going to be a set that has the same number of elements. So equivalent sets have the same number of elements. So the set that is equivalent to PQRS is going to be C, A, B, C, D. Okay, for number 10, all students in a class play Scrabble or checkers or both. If 36% of the students play Scrabble and only 48% of the students play checkers only, what percentage of students play both games? Okay, so if we were to visualize that, we have the students that play Scrabble only, which is, so we have Scrabble and checkers. The students that play Scrabble only is 36. Students that play checkers only is 48%, right? So all of the students lie within here, so the rest of the students must lie in the intersection. So that means that the intersection will have to be the number that makes this total 100. So how we're going to do that is we're going to find 100 minus 36 plus 48. 6 plus 8 is 14. 3 plus 4 is 7, and 1 is 8. So 100 minus 84, which is 16%. And that's it, that's B. So 11 refers to the following Venn diagram. In the Venn diagram, X represents a set of factors of 12, Y represents a set of factors of 9, and the shaded region represents a set of all factors of what? Okay, so the shaded region is the intersection, so we need to look at these two sets, x separately, which is the factors of 12. Those are all of the numbers that can go into 12 without leaving a remainder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Y would be all of the numbers that can go into 9 without leaving a remainder. That's just 1, 3, and 9. So the common x intersect y, which is the shaded region, is going to be 1 and 3. And you can tell that these represent the factors of 3. Right, so all of the numbers that can go into 3 without leaving a remainder. 3 is a prime number, so it's only 1 and itself. So 11 is A. Moving on. In the Venn diagram, the shaded area represents, this one is P complement. Right, so everything that is not in P is shaded, so that would be P complement. 13. A store offers a discount of 15% on the total bill to customers who spend more than $20. If a customer's total bill is $80, how much must she pay? Okay, so the customer paid more than $20, which means that she received the 15% discount. If you do not pay 15%, you will pay 85%, so 85 over 100 of the original cost would be this customer's bill. Right, 85 over 100 reduces to 75 over 20. 20 to 21, 20 into 80 is 4, and 17 times 4 is 68. So the customer pays $68. Okay, at a store, sales tax is charged at a rate of 2% on the cost price of an item. The sales tax on a dress, which costs $180, is, so we'll find 2% of 180. So we'll cross this out. 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 10 is 5. Okay, so we have 18 over 5, which would be 3 and 3/5. Right, and 3/5 of $1 would be 60 cents. So $3.60. Okay, moving on. 15. A plot of land is valued at $18,000. Land tax of $126 is charged annually. At what rate per annum is the land tax charged? Okay, so we have to find the percentage that 126 is of 18,000. So we'll have 126 over 18,000 multiplied by 100. So those two zeros can cancel there. Let's see what we can divide these by. So I believe we'll be able to divide these by 6. So 6 into 12 is 2, 21, and 6 into 180 is 30. So again, we have 21 over 30. 21, 7, and well, 3 into 21 is 7. 3 into 30 is 10. So that's 7 over 10, right? So 7/10, which is 0.7, right? So the non-tax is 0.7%. Okay. The exchange rate for $1 is $2.70 in Eastern Caribbean currencies. What is the value of US $4.50 in EC currency? Okay, so we have $1 is equal to $2.70. So to get from 1 to 450 on this side, what we'll do is multiply by $4.50. So we need to do the same here. I will ignore the zeros for now and try to multiply as normal. So we can use long multiplication for this. We have 2 decimal places, so we'll need to add that back in our final answer. add back the points really. So 5 times 2 is 10, 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 is 9. 5 times 7 is 35, 4 times 7 is 28, and 3 is 31. Add these two. So your final answer should be $12.15. Right, I add back the decimal point 2 places so that the number has 2 places. And yes, my final answer is $12.15. 17. A man's annual salary is $45,000. His tax-free allowances total $13,000. He has to pay a tax of 20% on his taxable income. Right, so he has 13,000 tax-free allowances. So what is his taxable income? Well, we need to take that away from his total income. 5 minus 3 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. So his taxable income is 32,000, and 20% of that is the tax. So we cross these 2 zeros out here. We have 20 by 320. So what we'll do is add 2 zeros, multiply 2 by 32, and that's 64. Right, so 6,400 is the tax payable. For 18, a television set costs $350 cash. When bought on hire purchase, a deposit of $35 is required, followed by 12 monthly payments of $30. How much is saved by paying cash? So the cash is $350. The hire purchase is going to be the deposit plus 12 monthly payments of $30. So this is the hire purchase price. So it's going to be 35 plus 12 times 30. We just multiply 12 times 3 and add 1 0. And add these two, we get $395. So how much is saved by paying cash? So the price for hire purchase is $395 and it's $350 cash. Therefore the difference would be $395 minus $350, which is $45. So 18 is D. 19. A man pays 60 cents for every 200 meters cubed of gas used, plus a fixed charge of $13.75. How much does he pay when he uses 55,000 meters cubed of gas? So let's see how many times 200 meters cubed would occur in this, and then that will tell you how much times he is charged 60 cents. Okay, so we'll divide 55,000 by 200. So that's 550 divided by 2. So that would be 275. Right, so 275 times is what he is charged, is how often he's charged 60 cents. So he's charged 60 cents 275 times. So his total bill would be 275 multiplied by 60 cents, so 0.6. Again, we'll multiply and then add the decimal point in later. We have 1 decimal point. 5 times 6 is 30. 7 times 6 is 42, and 3 is 45. 2 times 6 is 12, and 4 is 16. And we have 1 decimal point to add in, so that's 165. Now notice that is here again, but it is not the answer. Why? Because he has a fixed charge of $13.75. So we need to add that in. So 165 plus $13.75 is going to be $178.75, and your answer is A. Moving on to question 20. Item 20 refers to the following table, which shows the rates charged by an insurance company. So So house insurance is 25 cents per $100 and contents insurance is 50 cents per $100. Question asks, how much will a person pay for insurance if his house is valued at $50,000 and the contents at $10,000? Right, so again we need to find out how many times 100 occurs in each and then multiply by the rate per $100. So in this case, 50,000 divided by 100, we'll cross two zeros out, you know that's 500 times. So this person needs to pay 500 times 25 cents each time. Right? It might be easier to work with fractions in this case, but your answer, and you can double check, will be 125. We'll add the two zeros and then put our decimal point. So that should be $125 for the house, and the contents we're looking at dividing this by 100 as well, and now we need to find 100 multiplied by 50 cents. So we have 100 multiplied by 0.5, which is $50. So we have 125 plus 50, which is 175. Right? Just putting the working here so you can see it. We have 125 plus 50, which is 175. Okay, so 21 says the product, which means multiply. So the product of minus 2a and minus 3a is, so of course we'll multiply minus 2a times minus 3a. Multiplying the variables, we have minus 2 times minus 3. So we have two negatives multiplied by each other, that's a positive 6. And then a times a is a squared. Any number multiplied by itself is itself squared. The answer is D. Okay, moving on to question 22. When 6 is added to a number and the sum is divided by 3, the result is 4. So 6 is added to a certain number, we'll call that number x, and the sum, so 6 plus x, that's what sum means, the addition, right? That addition, 6 plus x, is divided by 3. The result, so the answer is 4. That's what we're looking for, and that's B. Okay, number 23, Althea normally saves X dollars each month, but in June she saved 4 more than twice her usual amount. So in June, she would have saved 4 more than 2 times her usual amount, which is X. So that is 2X plus 4. D. Okay, for number 24, if 3 plus 2 over x is equal to 1, then the value of x is. So I'm going to work this out using algebra, but if you do not know how in the exam, if you get stuck, you can always replace the value of x with these 4 values. It's not going to take you that long. Simplify and see if this side will be equal to 1 when you substitute in the values. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is move this 3 to the other side of the equation, so it becomes minus 3. So I have 2, not 2 over 3, 2 over x is equal to 1 minus 3. So that means that 2 over x is equal to minus 2. And I'm going to cross multiply. So we have x times minus 2 is equal to, you can think of that as minus 2 over 1. So 1 times 2. So 2 is equal to minus 2x, and x would therefore be equal to 2 divided by minus 2, which is minus 1. Right, now if you put in minus 1 into this equation, we get 2 over minus 1, which is minus 2, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Right, so multiple ways to work it out, and that is just a shortcut if you do not know, or if you're not too confident in the algebra. Okay, number 25. If x equals 4 and y equals 2, what is the value of x squared plus 3y over xy? So let's replace the variables with the numbers that they're equal to. X squared is 4 squared, which is 16. So I'll start off saying 4 squared plus 3 times y, which is 2, over x, which is 4, times y, which is 2. So we have 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 2 is 8. So 16 plus 6 is 22. So we have 22 over 8. 8 can go into 22 2 times with a remainder of 6. So we have 2 and 6/8, which is 2 3/4 when you reduce it. And that's D. Number 26, the expression minus 2 times x minus 4 is the same as, so they just want you to give them the expanded form. So you multiply the minus 2 with everything inside the brackets. That should be minus 2x, and then minus 2 times minus 4 is positive 8. Okay, so minus 2x plus 8, that is B for 26. Right, so this one says if the determinant of A, right, some matrix A is equal to 0, then A is, so this is just knowledge, a singular matrix, right? So if the determinant is 0, then A is a singular matrix, and it also does not have an inverse. Okay, so it says item 28 refers to the following matrices, X and Y. What is the order of the matrix product XY? So the matrix X has 2 rows and 3 columns, so it's a 2 by 3. Matrix Y has 3 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 3 by 2. Now to figure out the order of the matrix product, first check to see that these two numbers are the same, so that's 3 by 3, and they are, so that means the matrix multiplication can be performed. And the resulting matrix is going to be a 2 row by 2 column, right? So the number of rows in the first matrix by the number of columns in the second, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix that the answer is going to be. Okay, moving on. If the vectors P and Q are 3, 2 and minus 1, 4 respectively, meaning that respectively means that P, the first letter listed here, matches up with the first vector listed, and the first letter listed here, the second letter listed here, matches up with the second vector listed. So P is 3, 2, and Q is minus 1, 4, and then they want you to find minus P minus 2Q. Okay, so this is where you'll have to pay attention, because P minus 2Q is actually a repeat, but they have now added in minus P minus 2Q. Okay, so minus P minus 3, 2 minus 2 times minus 1, 4. What we'll do is we will multiply everything here by minus 1, so we'll get minus 3 minus 2, also known as distributing the negative sign, and then we'll multiply everything here by minus 2, so we'll have plus minus 2 times minus 1 is positive 2, minus 2 times 4 is negative 8. Right, so minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1, minus 2 minus 8 is minus 10. Right, so D is your answer. Okay, item 30 refers to the following parallelogram WXYZ. In the parallelogram, R is the midpoint of XY. So Number 30 says, based on the information above, ZR, so the vector ZR going from Z to R, that's the vector ZR, and we want to find what ZR is equal to. Right, so any point that is going to take it to ZR, any line of vectors that's going to take it to ZR is going to be correct. So what we can do is ZW to WX to XR. Now we know that XR is going to be 1/2 WZ, right? And you need to consider the direction that you're going in. So ZW is minus WZ, right? Now the reason we know this is because R is the midpoint, so XR is going to be half of XY, and XY is equal to WZ. Okay, again, starting at X going to Y, starting at W going to Z, so XR is half of WZ, so that's what we get here. So we have these three measurements here, well, these three vectors. So we have minus WZ plus WX plus 1/2 WZ. Right? So that should be WX minus 1/2 WZ when you add like terms. So your answer is B. Number 31, if it took a speedboat 9 hours to travel a distance of 1,080 kilometers, what was its average speed in kmph? So distance is equal to speed by time. So speed should be distance over time. And the distance was 1,080. Time is 9 hours. So km PH, which means kilometers over hours, so that will give you the correct units. So we just divide 108 by 1080, sorry, by 9. We get 9 into 108 is 12, and then you add a 0, so it's 120. Item 32 refers to the following diagram of a trapezium, and they ask what is the area of the trapezium. So the area of the trapezium is going to be the sum of these perpendicular sides by 1/2 by the height. Right, the sum of the parallel sides, not the perpendicular sides, and the height is the perpendicular height. Okay, so we're going to have 1/2 times 8 plus 20 multiplied by 3. That's going to be 1/2 of 28 multiplied by 3. That's 14. 1/2 times 28 is 14, and 14 times 3 is 42 centimeters squared. Oh, this is 8. Again, another mistake. Sorry about that. So this should be 8 plus 12, which is 20. So it's 1/2 by 20 by 3. 1/2 by 20 is 10. And 10, again, 10 times 3, sorry, is 30 centimeters squared. Okay, so 32 is C. Okay, item 33 refers to the following circle with center O. Right, it's showing an arc AB that is equal to 120 degrees. If the circumference of the circle is 15 centimeters, then the length of the minor arc AB in centimeters is, so you'll put the angle over 360, angle that you see in the minor arc, which is a shorter arc, the angle that you see, you put that over 360 and multiply it by 15. So 120 over 360 and multiplied by 15. Okay. Okay, next, 34. The lengths of the sides of a triangle are x, 2x, and 2x centimeters. If the perimeter is 20 centimeters, then what is the value of x? So the addition of all of the sides, x plus 2x plus 2x, is equal to 20. Right? So we have 5x when we add on the left hand side is equal to 20, which means that x now is equal to 4. Right, so this again is just algebra. 35. A rectangular garden plot 15 meters long and 12 meters wide is used to plant fruits and vegetables. If 80 meters squared of the plot is used to plant vegetables, what area of the plot is planted with fruits? So what we'll do is find the area of the entire plot. And that would be 15 multiplied by 12, which is 180 meters squared. Right, so if 80 meters out of this 180 meters is 80 meters squared out of this 180 meters squared is used for planting vegetables, then the rest has to be used for planting fruits. So the area used for fruits would be 180 minus 80, which is 100 meters squared. Alright, number 36, the distance around a lake is 8 kilometers. On a map, this distance around the lake is represented by a length of 2 centimeters. Okay, so the 2 centimeters is equal to, in real life it's scaled, but it would be representing 8 kilometers. Right, so we need to get them in the same unit. So we have 2, and in 8 kilometers there are 1000 meters, so that's 3 zeros you need to add, and so we have 8 kilometers, so that's 3 zeros, 8,000 meters, and then 2 more zeros to get to centimeters. Right, so we have 2 to 8,000, so that is 1. 2 to 800,000, so that's 1 to 400,000. Okay. That's D. 37. The diagram above, not drawn to scale, shows a cylinder of radius 3 centimeters and a height 8 centimeters. The volume of the cylinder is, so they want it in terms of pi, so it's going to be pi r squared times h. So what we need to do is find r squared times h. So that's 3 squared, which is 9, times 8, which is 72. So 72 pi centimeters cubed. Okay, moving on to question 38. The volume of the cuboid is 320 centimeters cubed and the height is 5 centimeters. If the cuboid has a square base, what is the length of one side of the base? Okay, so we need to find the area of the base. And since volume would be length times breadth times height, then length times breadth, which is the area of the base, would be volume over height, which is 320 over 5, right? And that would be 64, right? So the length times breadth is 64. Of course, it's a square base, so the area, the lengths are the same. The length is equal to the breadth, right? So to find the length, we just find the square root of 64, which is 8 centimeters. Item 39 refers to the following scores which were obtained by 11 students in a competition. And the model score is the one that is the one that occurs the most frequently. So what I'm seeing here is 3 is appearing 1, 2, 3, 4 times. All the rest not appearing as often. So 6 appears twice, 8 appears twice, 7 appears once, 5 appears once, 11 appears once. Okay, so the modal score is the one that occurs most often, and I believe that one is 3. Alright, so that's for 39. Item 40 refers to the following pie chart, which shows the popular games played by 720 students. So they're asking how many students play cricket. So they gave us a bunch of percentages here. Everything has to add up to 100%. So let's find out how much percentage plays other sports, or what percentage play other sports. So that's 30% plus 10%, which is 40%, plus 25%, which is 65%. Right? So other sports would be 65%, which means that cricket would be 100% minus 65, which is 35%. Right? And again, the number 35 is here to trip you up. Do not fall for it. We'll have 35 over 100 multiplied by 720 over 1. 5 into 35 is 7. 5 into 10 is 2. 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 72 is 36. 6 times 7 is 2. Right, 3 times 7 is 21, and 4 is 25. Right, so that's 252 students that play cricket. Again, you need to do all of this mentally because you are not allowed to use a calculator in your exam. Okay, so items 41 to 42 refer to the following chart, which shows the number of books 58 students bought as a sale. 41 asks how many students bought exactly 4 books. Looking at the graph, you can see for 4 books we have a cut in the middle. Right, so you can't have piece of a student, but what you notice is here it goes from 8 to 10. So in between here would have the number 9. Right, so 9 students bought exactly 4 books. And 42 says the median number of books bought by the students is what? So the median number would occur when we get to the midpoint of the values. So in cases where we have even numbers, we have to divide 58 by 2. We'll get 29. So the 29th and 30th value will tell you the median number of books bought. So what we'll look and see is which category the 29th and 30th value would occur in. So let's look at the frequencies. So we have 8 students buying 3 books, 9 students buying 4 books, so that's 17, and then 13 students buying 5 books, so 17 and 13 is going to be equal to 30, right? So this is where your median numbers would occur, and that's 5, right? So notice they have 29 and 30, but you're looking for the median number of books, so you give a number of books. Okay. Next question. Items 43 to 44 refer to the following diagram, which shows the cumulative frequency polygon of the lengths in meters of 20 fish that were caught by 2 fishermen. Okay. The semi-interquartile range of the length of the fish is this. Okay, so semi-interquartile range would be the 3rd quartile minus the minus the first quartile, right? The first quartile would occur quarter way through your data. So a quarter of 20 is 5. So let's see where that takes us. All right, so the length would be 1.2 meters. That's your first quartile. And your third quartile would be 3/4 of 20, which is 15. So at the 15th mark, the 15th fish. And that tells us, gives us a length of 3.7 meters, I believe. So the interquartile range is the difference between the two of those. So 3.7 minus 1.2, which is 2.5. Okay, so that's number 43. Number 44, fish is selected at random. What is the probability that it is at least 1.8 meters long? So the probability that it is at least 1.8 meters long, we need to find out how many fish would be over that mark and then divide that by the total number of fish. So we're looking at the 1.8 meter line. Okay, so let's take that line, go from there. Right, so this here, we have 10 markings here, so each marking, every 2 markings should be a number. So this should be 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10. So at this line, 8 fish would be below 1.8, so that means that 12 fish should be above 1.8. Right, so at least means 1.8 or more. So 12 fish would be above 1.8, so that's 12 out of 20, and that's your answer. Right, so that's what at least means. That's why we don't circle 8 over 20, we circle the answer that selects 12 over 20. Okay, question 45. The arrow diagram above describes what relation? So y is less than x is our first option, and that's not true. 8 is not less than 2. Y is a factor of x. Again, factors have to be less than multiples or less than the number, so it's not b. So it's not a, it's not b. X is a factor of y, so let's see, 2 goes to 8 and to 10, that's true. It is a factor of those two numbers. 4 goes to 8, 4 is a factor of 8, that's true. And 3 goes to 9. So it looks like it could be C, but let's check D. D, x is a multiple of y, so again, multiples have to be bigger than the actual number, bigger than or equal to. So that is not true, and your answer is C. Okay, 47. Which of the following line graphs represents x is between -2 and 4, with -2 being excluded? So for the excluded, or the strictly greater than, right, what we'll do is have a unfilled circle, so at -2, so that rules out B and C. For the inclusive, we'll have a filled out circle, so that rules out A, right? So filled out circle at 4, that rules out A, so your answer is D. Okay. 47. Which of the following graphs represents a function? So a function has to be 1 to 1 or many to 1. Cannot be 1 to many, right? Which means that we cannot have multiple y values for the same x value, which we see here. We see that there's a same y value this at the same y value, there are multiple x values here, and here. Right. Right, so again, same x value has multiple y values, right? And here, same x values will have multiple y values. This is the only one where we have one x value going to at least one y value, right? Or one y value for one x value, rather. So that's what represents a function. A function cannot be, right? So can only be one-to-one or many-to-one, right? Many x to one y, you cannot have one x to many y, so that's wrong. No x should be going, no one x value should be going to multiple y values. Okay, so this is not a function. Alright, moving on. Question 48. Which of the following points lies on the line y is equal to 2x minus 3? So you're going to have to substitute the points into the equation to see if it's satisfied. So for the first point, 3 should be equal to 2 times 3 minus 3. That's 6 minus 3, which is 3. So that works out. Right, so this off the bat is going to tell you it's your point. Looking at B now, let's try the other ones out. So minus 1, 2 times minus 2 minus 3. So minus 1 is 2 times 2 is minus 4. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. Minus 3 is minus 7. So that doesn't work out. 4 times 1, right? So 1 should be equal to 2 times 4 minus 3. 2 times 4 is 8 minus 3, which is 5. So that's not equal. So you know B and C are out. Right, and minus 3 should be 2 times 0 minus 3. There's a mistake here that I made. Let me put it back. Right, so I put in for A, you should have 2 times 2, which is 4 minus 3, which is 1. So A is not it either. But when we check D, we have minus 3 is 0 minus 3, and that's true. So D is the answer. A is not the answer. Okay. Number 49, if f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 1, then f of minus 3 would be what? So we're putting in minus 3 into the function, replacing it with x. So 2 times minus 3 squared is 2 times 9, which is 18, and 18 minus 1 is 17. Okay, just remember that minus 3, any minus number, any negative number squared is going to be the positive version still. Okay. Okay, numbers 50 and 51 refer to this graph. So the maximum point of this graph here would be 2, 4. Right, so where the graph peaks, 2, 4, that is the maximum point. Right, the values of x at the point where y equals 4x minus x squared intersects y equals 0 are what? So that would be the x-axis. That's where y is equal to 0, right? So that's going to be at 0. So 0, 0 and 4, 0. Again, y is equal to 0, so we expect the coordinates to be 0, 0 and 4, 0. So x would be 0 and 4. Okay, you can also, if you don't want to read it off of the graph, you can factorize. So we'll have 4x minus x squared equals 0. So we factorize x into 4 minus x. So x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4. Once we factorize and set both factors equal to 0. Okay, next item 52. Which of the following sets is represented by the function f of x equals x squared plus 3? I'm guessing when x is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the x values would be 0, 1, 2, and 3. And we need to see where the y values correspond. So we're not looking at this first one, it's all 4 here. It's all 3 here. So let's look at when x is equal to 1, because we only have 2 occurrences. But we have 3 occurrences of 4. So let's see. When x is equal to 1, we'll have x squared, which is 1, plus 3, which is 4. So that cancels out b and d, right? And then the values now for when x is equal to 2 are different. So let's see. So x is equal to 2 means 2 squared plus 3. So that's 4 plus 3, which is 7. Okay, so that should be a then. And let's check again for 3. So 3 squared is 9 plus 3 is 12, right? So just for good measure, we checked on 12, and C is not wrong. So A is wrong. C is not right. A is right. Okay, in the diagram above, if the line y equals x is rotated anti-clockwise about O, and I'm guessing this is through 90 degrees. So rotated anti-clockwise will look like this. Make an anti-clockwise rotation 90 degrees. Your image would be y is equal to minus x. Okay. Items 54 and 55 refer to the following diagram of a pair of intersected lines. A, C, and D are straight lines intersecting at B. Angle DBA is equal to 58 degrees. So DBA is this angle. And the measure of angle ABE, well, we know that this is a straight line. And straight lines, the angles are 180 degrees. So this should be 180 minus 58, which is going to be 122 degrees. And which of the following angles are equal? So we're looking at, let's see, DBC. So the opposite angles should be equal. So DBC should be equal to ABE, and DBA should be equal to CBE. Right, or ABD. In this case, DBA, ABD, CBE. Right, this is equal. Right, so DBA again is the same as ABD. Right, however you want to name it, as long as the angle is at B, right, or the point is at B. Right, so let's check the others. DBC and CBE shouldn't be equal, no. CBE and ABE not equal, they're adjacent. Right, CABD and CBD, right, not equal. So your answer really is D. Okay, 56. In each of the following diagrams, A prime is the image of A. Which of the diagrams show a reflection in the x-axis? So reflection in the x-axis is going to mean the same orientation along the x-axis. Right, so that would be this one. Reflecting along the x-axis. So it's like your x-axis is now your mirror line. And this is what it would look like. Because we can fold this shape over the mirror line and it would line up completely with this shape with no overlap. Okay? Or well, it would completely overlap and there's no extra pieces or anything. Right? When we fold across the mirror line. Alright, for question 57, triangle ABC, angle A is equal to x degrees and angle B is 2x degrees. What is the size of angle C? So it's going to be 180 minus x plus 2x, since angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So that should be 180 minus 3x. And there's nothing else to figure out there. That's A. Item 58 refers to the following pairs of similar triangles, and they ask for the length of MO in centimeters. So with similar triangles, the ratio of the sides should be the same. So 6 over 3 should be 7 over MO. Right, so 2 would be equal to 7 over MO, and you use some algebra to figure this out. So you cross multiply. 2 times MO is equal to 7, and MO would just be 7 over 2, which is 3.5 centimeters. Okay, 3.5. Alright, 59. A ship sailed 8 kilometers due east from A to B, and then sailed 6 kilometers due north. Okay, so these are cardinal points: north, east, south, west. So 8 kilometers due east, and then 6 kilometers due north. Right, so that looks like this. This is north here, going 8 east and 6 north. So that answer is C. Right, to get from A to C. Alright, and finally question 60. Under the translation 2 minus 3, the image of 3 minus 5 is. So what we can do is really just add them as if they were vectors. We'll get 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 minus 5 minus 3 is minus 8. So the image is 5 minus 8, which is C. So 60 is C. And that is the paper completed. Right, so again, you can pause, you can replay, you can slow the video down if you need the video to be slowed down, the explanations to be slowed down. And yes, hope you learned and understood what was presented. Right, so take care.
Thank you for watching. If you have found this video to be helpful, please feel free to contact us for more information about our classes.